Welcome back to the 1885 show for your Stoke City post-match cool-down. A huge, huge night for Millwall, a massive 3 points, and we've only 2 games left of the season. The table is starting to look very, very interesting at the top. Before we begin, this show is brought to you in collaboration with our partners over at the Small Beer Taproom, the closest taproom to the Den. Great atmosphere, great pint, and only 5-minute walk from the stadium. We'll be there on match days, so make sure you come down and say hello. And a quick thank you to everyone who came down before and after the game against QPR for our launch event. We did film a show there, but the audio is absolutely terrible. So unfortunately, we've not been able to use it, hence why we haven't been uploaded for a few days. But we're back now. If you enjoy the content, please like, share, drop your thoughts in the comments, and absolutely make sure you're subscribed because very soon we'll be giving away this signed shirt. 1 second. You'd have thought I put it next to me, didn't you? But no, I'm not that prepared. This shirt will be given away absolutely free and you won't want to miss out. So make sure you're tuning in and keeping yourselves up to speed with everything over here at the 1885 show. It's signed by players in the current matchday squad. I don't think it's quite all of them, but it's a good amount. So for a free giveaway, not something to be sniffed at all. So make sure you're subscribing to the show. Joining me tonight to break down Millwall's huge win over Stoke last night is Harry. Harry, how are you, mate?
Yeah, all good. You know, after last night, it couldn't be much better, could it? Pressure's back on Ipswich. I don't know when this is going out, but obviously as we're recording, Ipswich play tonight against Charlton. So we can only do what we can do, and what we did last night was a professional performance. You know, obviously despite conceding the goal, which was a freak goal from them. Yeah, any other time that happens, Taylor hits it and it goes out for a corner, and it's ended up in the back of the net. So yeah, it was comfortable last night. Never really, even before we went 1-0 up, and even when they scored, it was a very professional performance. I only have one criticism from the game is that he didn't make subs earlier to rest players, but
Completely agree.
other than that, I thought it was a solid performance. Like I said, didn't really. I think I was more sweating over the game than probably the players were, because it never felt we really got out of first gear last night and got the 3 points, and now we can rest up and 2 cup finals basically.
No, mate, I completely agree. I mean, the first thing I wanted to touch on, sort of, that I picked up from the game, and it's something that we said after QPR, actually. I mean, fast starts are going to be so important for us. And if you look at like the Norwich and the West Brom game, we just started so slowly. We invited pressure and it just made our life difficult, it felt like, in them fixtures. QPR last night, we just started so quickly with a real high intensity and a lot of pressure in the ball early on. You get them early goals and then suddenly you're in complete control. And I mean, Stoke were unbeaten at home since January, and they were brushed aside with ease. I know they're in poor form, and I've got to say, judging by last night, Stoke are absolutely terrible. But we made it look comfortable, I think, without really getting out of second gear. Harry, what stood out to you in that performance, mate?
Just the comfortness of it all. I think even with the QPR game as well, we sort of, it never felt really we were at our best, but we were always in control of it. Last night, there was no point, as when you're watching it, you're always thinking, oh, we can do something here, like, it's not good enough. But like, actually, on a reflection of it all, it was really comfortable last night. It never really, like I said, I never really felt we got out of second gear. I always felt that we were in control of the game, and there was only one team that was ever going to win last night. I think even if Coburn's goal at the end doesn't go in, or it's blocked, because it nearly was, to be fair, I still think we come away with 3 points. I don't think Stoke have enough quality, and as we mentioned, the goal they scored was an absolute freak of nature. So it was a really comfortable game, and probably one of them ones where, as we get to the business end of the season, you could argue, Stoke on the beach, got nothing to play for, but if you look at previous seasons, when we have played teams that are meant to be on the beach, we have struggled against some teams. You can argue Leicester are now on the beach because they're relegated, but every game at this end of the season,
it's very different circumstances, though, isn't it, when you've been relegated?
Players are playing for either contracts for a new club, whatever it may be. They may be on loan at them, so they're playing to, maybe prove a point to sign them permanently next year. So every player is playing for something, and obviously I know they handed a debut, didn't they, last night to an 18-year-old, but I don't think Stoke went there with the intention to lose last night. Do you know what I mean? They still gone there and tried to win the game. It's just we've had a lot more quality. And yeah, it was a really good performance. Like I said, the only downside was we conceded a goal, and the subs weren't made earlier just for rest size. But we know we're not going to catch goal difference anyway. So realistically, winning 1-0 and winning 3-1, unless we're going to go beat someone 8-0, if we go beat
Which
Leicester
isn't going to
8-0,
happen. That's not going to happen,
exactly.
is it? Yeah.
No, exactly, and so that's what I mean. So unless a miracle happens on Friday night and we score double digits or something ridiculous, it's just going to come down to how many points we can get, and we basically need 6 more. But yeah, it was just probably for the first time watching a game on TV, away from home. It just didn't really like. There was no panic about us. It just seemed very, very calm and collected. And after the wobbles against West Brom and Norwich, we seemed to have bounced back in style last two.
Yeah, mate, I completely agree with what you said. I think it was comfortable, almost like unnervingly comfortable. You're thinking this has been a bit too easy. We've created chances, maybe not taking our chances as well as we should have, particularly in the first half. And you're thinking eventually something's going to happen here. This is all going to go a little bit Pete Tong, and it'll be typical Millwall that you're sitting there going, we should be 3-0 up, and then suddenly in a game you weren't in. I said in the first half, I actually thought that our biggest threat was the ref. To be honest with you, I mean, them 2 early yellows I thought were ridiculous. And you're looking at both centre midfielders thinking this could be a long even. If one of them gets sent off, and suddenly the Leicester and Oxford game, or Leicester, sorry, obviously be 2 yellows, a suspension in the midfield is a huge problem. But we got through it, and as you said, it was comfortable. I don't think we got out of second gear at all game at
Yeah,
all.
no, exactly. And I mean, the yellow card ones. Who was it first? Mazu got the first one, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
then it was Benoit.
yeah.
So, like, because in real time, I was like, oh, he's pulled him back. He's definitely a foul. Both, they're literally identical challenges. They're breaking away. He's pulled him down.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, the first one's not a yellow. Then Denord does it. That's when you give the first yellow. You don't. I mean, Mazu Saka. I can't remember what minute it was, but it was really early in the
Like
game.
5th minute game.
Yeah,
5th
I
minute.
was like, that's the first foul we've committed. That one's your
Yeah,
warning. And then, then you book the Denord because we've done it again. I know it's not the same player, but it's the second time that's exact thing happened.
yeah.
So that should have been 1 yellow card last night. Yeah, I mean, I don't think a Stoke player got booked. I'm pretty sure Stoke. I think if you check the stats, I don't
I'll
think
have
a
to
Stoke
check
player.
that.
I don't think it's
from memory, no, but
I don't think, and it just does always seem that way. Them little like silly challenges, like I said, they're both free kicks, and
yeah,
I think the second one definitely is yellow because we've done it. We should have had a warning, and that's a yellow. The problem is he's booked Mazu Saka. He's had to book Denor because it's the exact same challenge. I was just thinking, even the commentator said it at the time. It's very soft, but he set the tempo of the game there. He booked 2 of ours straight away. I'm pretty sure Coop's got a yellow card. Someone else definitely did. I can't remember who the other one was.
we got 3 in total. I think it was Danny McNamara when he come on in second
That's it,
half.
Danny Mac. Yeah, yeah.
But
Honestly, I
which
know
again,
people
that
love
was
that.
his first challenge. Don't get me wrong, I
Yeah.
think that one was a yellow. To be fair,
That one, yeah, he's literally just smashed into him for no reason.
but yeah, I just checked. You are right. Stoke finished the game without a yellow card. I mean, do you know what? We'll touch on Stoke briefly because I mean we've said it already, but I thought they were terrible. I know they've got a lot of injury problems. I know their season's finished and all that, but you've got fans that have turned up. All right, not many of them, but you've got fans that have turned up. And you think you've just been absolutely dog walked for 90 minutes. If I was a Stoke fan, I wouldn't mind seeing someone get a yellow card last night. I wouldn't mind seeing someone going for a tackle and just hit someone out of frustration because they were just so passive all game. Like it got to a stage you're thinking, if I was a Stoke fan, I'd be embarrassed by this.
Yeah, it was awful from them, and yeah, you can quite clearly tell that they're on the beach, so to speak, because they literally didn't offer anything. Like I said, their goal was a freak of nature. It's not even a shot on target. I mean, I think the only shot they had on target was the one. I think Patterson just collected it, didn't he? It was just straight down his throat. The only time we really got in trouble was, we just gave a lot of corners away. It was a lot of things coming in the box, and we were just heading them away. They never really troubled us too much. I'd be really disappointed if I was a Stoke City fan because, yes, you've got nothing to play for, but it's still a bit of pride, especially in your home matches.
Exactly.
If you're going to get walked up, if you're going to get bullied and beaten badly, you want it to be the away games, so you're not in front of your majority of the support. But last night, they just didn't look like they were there. I mean, even before it goes 1-0 to us, their striker, he has a chance to sort of do something, and with his left foot just smashed it well wide. It's like, yeah, you wouldn't have done that if there was a bit to play for. You'd have he had about 2-3 touches in him.
Would they? They're where they are in the league for a reason.
Yeah, true. But then, and then Lewis Baker had one where he could have drove about 3-4 more yards forward, and then had the shot at Patterson, which he then does save. To be fair, so that was one of the shots on target they had. But he could have drove about 3-4 more yards. He had loads of space. but then
Hmm.
decided to take one from 20-odd yards. It looked like last night none of them could be bothered. And they were just
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't know how many World Cup players essentially they've got in their team. I'm not too sure if any of them are
Out of
in
that
that
start 11,
situation.
there won't be many.
Yeah, but yeah, they just looked last night. They just couldn't be bothered, and that'd be it. They could because they've got good players. Because at one
Yeah.
point they were up there in the league. I know they've fallen away a bit, but they've clearly got. I mean, they've got that Thomas, who's a very good player. I think Williams is a centre back. He's a young lad and he's coming through. He's a decent centre back. Yeah, last night they just looked like they couldn't be asked. I just I feel for the Stoke fans because yeah, imagine being at home and just watching that must have been awful. I mean, I know we've been called boring and we weren't anything great last night. And in all fairness, two of our goals off from their mistakes. But it wasn't like, I mean, if Aziz's one gets saved and Coburn doesn't have that chance, we still would have created more and
Hmm.
more. You know what I mean? To get
If we had
that.
to, we would have found another gear.
Well, basically,
That's
what
the,
happened was we got the second goal, and then they scored, and then we just stepped it back up again and got a third.
yeah,
That's all that
yeah,
happened.
yeah,
We didn't need to go score. That's what I mean. We're not chasing. I think if our goal was about 10 better, last night we would have gone for 4, 5, 6, 7. We probably wouldn't have got that many, but you know what I mean? We'd have
yeah.
gone for goals.
We'd have gone for the fourth and fifth. Yeah,
We really know that if it comes down to goal limits at the end of the season, we're not going to do it. So all that mattered last night is we just kept that 2-goal buffer, and that's what we did perfectly.
I just want to get your thoughts on the midfield, mate, because obviously Derek coming against QPR, Denor obviously been a bit of a staple in that midfield since returning from injury. And this is by no stretch of criticism of Nigley, Bannon, Cundall, whoever else has been in there since Billy went out. But this pairing we've sort of stumbled upon has really impressed me the last two games. I think the amount of physicality and this presence we've had. And the biggest thing I think for me in the last two games is we won so many second balls and we've just kept teams pinned in. I think Derek's been a large part of that, but Casper as well seems to have really stepped up and matched him in that midfield and been a great partner for him. Stoke never settled and never found any rhythm, and a lot of that I think is down to midfield, mate. But I just want to get your thoughts on that pairing.
Yeah, I mean, with Denor, we know what we're going to get out of him, don't we? He's going to be an 8 out of 10 week in, week out. He's a battler. He's also got good passing and he can run with the ball. I think recently you can see he's been fatigued and sort of coming back from an injury. He's been a bit more sloppy, but I think he's slowly growing back into it. I thought you saw better Denor against QPR. And last night he did make a few mistakes, but it was more of the Denor we're used to. Mazu Sakho is like bloody Stretch Armstrong. He puts his leg through about 3 players' legs and then pings the ball out and still has it on him. He's got the biggest legs in the world. With Mazu Sakho, there's just sort of, you can tell he's a young lad. There's no fear. He plays with absolutely no fear in him. No pressure. To him, it's like we're not playing for top 2 right now. He's just playing football and enjoying it. And that's the way it's come across the last 2 games. He's going to get things wrong. The one thing I really do like about him, though, is, and you see it a lot of times last night, we almost played with a back 5 at times. He'd drop into that to pick up the ball and then pick it up off Cooper and then spray it around a bit. And then that's where you try and find the openings for Aziz and Ballo and stuff. Yeah, Mazu Sakho has just been a revelation since he came in. I think most people would have probably gone with Bannon, but prior to QPR, or certainly Cundall, I think Mazu Sakho would have been 4th, 5th choice. But he's come in and he's just been, like I said, a revelation. He's got the legs to do the hard graft, but also he's actually quite good on the ball as well, which does help. Sometimes you get them
100%.
players where they've got the legs and they've got they can sort of carry it, but then their final ball's awful. I think with Mazu Sakho last night, not only is he strong, quick, and he's also good on the ball, can knock a ball about. And them two have just been, I mean, they dominated last night, didn't they? And I think, to be fair, if they both don't get a yellow card in the first half, we probably dominate a bit more. I think they both had to be very reserved, especially when
stop putting in tackles and challenges.
Yeah, well, exactly. Especially when Denor gets one. I think with Mazu Sakho, if it's only Mazu on one yellow card and then Denor doesn't get booked, I think maybe there can be a bit more tenacity because it's not both of them. But to have both of them on a yellow, you've basically got to turn around and go, we might have to give up the midfield at times here for the sake of it. And there was one when I think it was Thomas broke down the left and Denor went and got him. And I was like, please don't slide him. He got the ball.
Silly. Yeah.
Yeah, don't trip him up because we referee send you off. But yeah, last night I thought they'd done really well. And yeah, despite being on, that's what we have to remember. They were both on the yellow card very early on, and I thought they managed the game very well. And yeah, it's weird that no one would have had Mazu Sakho and Denor as just 2 starting centre midfielders for the last 2. But now you can't take them out, and whatever happens come, game 46, if we are having to play in the playoffs, you can't drop him. As much as I love Billy Mitchell, he doesn't get back in this side right now.
No, not in a minute. And it is a funny one because I can't remember what game it was, but when we hit, I think it might have been West Brom after a poor Norwich performance. I wanted us to bring Mazusaka into midfield simply for his presence and size and a little bit of athleticism. To your point, I never expected someone to come in and be that technically proficient and be able to drive with the ball through the middle and actually carry us forward and have an attacking threat. And we scored a goal, didn't it? I don't know if he was credited for assist against QPR. I think he was. So,
Yeah, he
he's
was.
contributed going forward as well. But we'll move into our second segment then, which is the starting 11. Millwall named an unchanged side after the win against QPR. Starting goal was Anthony Patterson, Crammer at right back, Taylor and Cooper at centre half, Sturge left back, Denor and Mazusaka, as you just mentioned, in the midfield. Out on the right, Aziz, Negley in the 10, Ballo left, and then big Josh Coburn up front. Harry, quick turnaround between games, mate. I mean, it's easy to say no now, but before the game, would you have been tempted to change anything?
Yes and no. I'll say both reasons why. So no, because I think if you've got a winning team, you've just got to go all out now until the end of the season and just hope it pays off and you get second. I'm guessing that's why
Mm-hmm.
you did change it last night. They clearly, I know they won't come out and publicly say that, but that must be the reason. And they didn't change it last night. They must be thinking, if we can just basically limp over the line into second, then we'll do that. There is obviously a risk that if you then don't get second, you could be screwed for the playoffs.
You've got to go for it, haven't you? You've got to.
But then that's where I turn my point to yes, and you go, you could have made a few changes last night just to freshen up. You could have brought Bannon in, you could have brought Ivanovic into the starting lineup, just so that if we don't get automatics and we have to rely on the playoffs, our players aren't burnt out come the 9th of May. I know they're going to get a week off, but the last thing you want to see is someone pulling up at Leicester or against Oxford. So yeah, I would have potentially started the Serb last night. I don't think he'd been that poor recently, and I think that it just would have been a better. I think just resting Coburn for a game and then you bring him in for Leicester. You could have even brought Coburn on, at half
If you
time.
had to change it to go chase the game,
Yeah.
yeah.
I potentially would have started Bannon just to give. I know because we saw Mazusaka obviously went off, didn't he, against QPR? So I was worried that he was going to be. I mean, he seemed fine last night, so that was, didn't need to do that in the end. And I mean, that had been maybe Ivanovic and Bannon would have been the only two, but it was more for me. It would have been I would have made subs earlier, as I mentioned, at the beginning of the podcast, that I'd have made subs a lot earlier. I did think we got to the 70th minute, and I think Stoke had made 5, and we hadn't made a sub yet.
Yeah.
And that is going to take a toll on the players today, and then leading up to Friday. So that would have been the only thing I'd done. But then maybe he's making a couple of changes for Leicester now that they're down.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, mate, I think I agree with you. I was surprised he didn't make. No, I just said I wasn't surprised he didn't change it. I expected him not to. I think I would have been tempted to make a couple of changes. Obviously, Coburn went off injured against West Brom, but it looked like he went off with an injury, or maybe it was just precautionary. But we didn't expect him to play 8 minutes against QPR. He then did after that. I thought he definitely will be on the bench for this one. And there's a couple of other players like you think surely at some point someone like a Negley, right, is just going to break down and just look tired. He isn't. The geese just don't stop. But looking at the bench, obviously you've touched it before, and I completely agree with you. I think I don't have many criticisms out of yesterday's game, but one of them I do have was I do think the substitutions come a little bit late, particularly when we got that quick third after they got their goal. You're thinking, right, they're not going to come back from this now, so now you can start ringing the changes. The people that did come on, we saw Danny McNamara, Ivanovic, Langstaff, Watson, and Kundal. I mean, the game was pretty under control, and none of them got many minutes. But I mean, did any of them really stake a claim to get in the side for you, Harry?
No,
None of them impressed for me.
No, that ultimately last night, them not coming on was just to rest up the first team. That's all that was doing last night. None of them were going to be effective in terms of. I mean, Ivanovic has a shot at the end in the 90th minute or something ridiculous. That was literally just to conserve Sturge because we don't know on what Alf's fitness is like yet. To save Coburn, did Denor come off? Was it Denor for Langstaff, or have I made that one out?
I think it was Ballo for Langstaff.
Oh, Ballo, yeah, Ballo. Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, from what I've seen of
Denor
Watson,
come off for Kundal.
Yeah, so Denor was just once again that's just a rest up. You want him for Friday, and then Ballo. Well, if Alfie's not fit, Ballo goes again Friday, doesn't he? Really, because I don't think there's
Yeah.
anyone in the team. From what I've seen of Tommy Watson, I don't want to be too high because he's a young lad, but from what I've seen, he's clearly not up to the standard we need at the moment. So Ballo starts again. Yeah, so that was them 5 changes ultimately are all just resting key players for Friday. I just would have liked to have seen it done a bit earlier personally, but that's why I'm not a gaffer, and Alex Neil is currently leading the team second in the championship.
It's it's an interesting one, mate, 'cause I do completely agree, and I think the minutes that these players didn't get the other night because they come on late, that could have been valuable minutes in their legs later on in the season. If we're looking at Danny McNamara and we're thinking, right, we're going to need to play him in a playoff semi-final or something, you might have wished he'd got some more minutes in games like last night where there's
Yeah.
nothing in it. But ultimately, it didn't matter. We come away unpunished, unscathed, and we go again. But we'll move on to our next segment then, which is the key moments. We'll start with the early goal because, to be honest with you, before that, there's not really much to write home about. I think we probably settled in the game earlier, but not much to really write home about before the 20th minute when we did make the breakthrough. I've got to say, mate, I thought it was a very un-Millwall-like goal. It was a proper passing move. It started with Crammer at right back. He lays one inside to Derek, drives forward, finds his ease I think just in our half on the halfway line. He turns, switches the ball out to Sturge. It's a great ball out to him. And I think what's so impressive here is Ballo cuts inside, doesn't he? Ballo sort of goes inside to free up that space. And I think we really sort of benefit in that first goal of just how important it is to have 2 legitimate wingers out wide, where we just stretched their backline, didn't we? Because they couldn't mark everyone, right? Sturgeon, plenty of space out on the left wing, puts it into the box. Got to say, the Stoke defender has a little bit of a nightmare. Makes a complete hash of his clearance. The ball drops to Negley, one touch onto his left foot, and he whips it into the top corner. It's a fantastic finish. It's a fantastic passing move. And I've got to say, it was no less than we deserve, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was obviously we had the chance prior, didn't we? Coburn sort of tries to get on the end of it, and he sort of taps it past the post, and sort of think we just need that first goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of similar to the QPR goal in terms of the finish from Nesley. You know, sort of just cut in on the right hand side inside the box and put it in the far corner. I think this one was more top corner rather than
Yeah,
the one against QPR. But yeah, you can just tell Nesley's playing with a load of confidence because I
100%.
think 2-3 months ago he wouldn't have hit that. He'd have tried to lay that off to someone else, or wouldn't have been a decent finish. You just tell he's playing with so much confidence now, and we're seeing a £4.5 million player that we paid for.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've always seen. There's always been glimpses of it, but just we've always known he's got the energy. He's going to run. He's going to track. It's just that final product at times we've wanted to see more of. And to be fair, if he's going to wait until game weeks 41, 42 and onwards to start showing a load of goals, then I'm not complaining. Yeah, a really good team goal. But yeah, like I said, we deserved it. I thought we were in control of the game. And as you mentioned, yeah, Ballo maybe doesn't offer as much at times as maybe other players like sort of Nesley on the wing in terms of the ability. But what he does do is, like you said, he's a winger. He's an out-and-out winger. He knows how to keep it wide. And Sturge, I thought, had an amazing game yesterday.
Really, yeah, did really
I
well.
think when beginning of the season, I was always questioned about Alf's brilliant going forward, but can't defend as well as Sturge, and Sturge can't attack as well. But now you're starting to see Sturge actually get forward and do a lot of attacking threats. And now what that does is it just means we've got more bodies going forward. So when something like that Stoke defender does mess it up, we've got players in the box to
Yeah.
capitalise. And I think that's the key thing. You know, how many times have we put balls in prior in the season and there's that second ball drops and there's just no one around it? I think
I
now,
want to say when Negley put that in, we had 4 players in the penalty area. I
yeah,
mean, and from memory, someone will be able to fact check this, but I think it was Ballo, Negley,
Grant,
Coburn, and Christian Kramer making a late run. So again, just to sit there in play and go, this move was started by Kramer at right back, and
yeah.
he's then bolted the whole length for the pitch, and he's sitting in their penalty area by the time the ball hits the net.
He was an engine
Fair
last
enough.
night. He was
Yeah,
an absolute engine. Like, I think you could tell Kramer a few weeks ago was a bit tired and a bit sort of, I
yeah.
need a rest, but almost too important to take out in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think in one of the predictions I said, put Lenny in just to give him a rest. And they did, it was a West Brom game. They didn't do it. But you saw Kramer last night. I mean, he was playing against a player that scored 10 goals and got 10 assists in Thomas. And let's be honest, I don't think Thomas had a sniff at goal last night, or even looked
No,
anywhere
did
near
nothing.
dangerous. I mean, he's quite clearly a good player, but the 2 times we've played him this season, I think he's been bang average.
Is he?
And that's
Is
because
he?
he's been up against drama.
I mean, I would dispute he's a good player. I think he was a player that was in good form. I mean, but you mean Duncan Watmore was in good form last year? Bloke's
Yeah.
absolute pony.
I
So
know. I don't
I
think you
want-
get 20 goals and assists, mate, and not be that. You got to have something in your locker.
yeah, maybe. But I've never seen it personally. But I mean, who am I? Who am I? So, got to say though, after we got the breakthrough in that first half, it was all Millwall. And again, if we're going to be ultra critical, I think you're sitting there thinking, guys, just take your chances. Don't make hard work as it
How
needs to
many
be.
did we miss in that
Yeah,
first
I mean,
half?
the big one comes obviously not that long after we actually get the breakthrough. Nigley comes down the right hand side, cuts it back to Josh Coburn, and he blazes it over the bar in traditional Josh Coburn fashion, dare I say. There was other chances as well in that first half, but it really should have been 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Coburn just honest. I mean, I'm glad he got his goal last night because
Yeah,
I think that'll take a weight off his shoulders. Because even if you win it 2-1, right, but if Coburn doesn't score, you know he's just going to be like down, and people are going to be
100%.
going for him on Twitter and stuff like that. I'm glad he got the goal. Yeah, just something about him. First time finishes, he just doesn't like him. If he could have last night, he could have taken a touch. By the way, he had that much
Yeah,
time on. He didn't actually need to smash it. I can't remember last time he scored a first time finish. I don't think he has because all his goals it always seems to be he runs onto them almost, and then he takes a few touches and then scores.
was Wrexham
Um,
first time?
no, I swear he took a touch on that and then
He might
smashed it.
have. I can't remember.
Yeah, maybe I can't remember now, but it's always he seems to always sort of run with it for a bit and then put it like I think a Borough.
Oh,
Um,
Ipswich,
I
first
can't.
time
I was
finish.
thinking that last night, but I can't actually remember what the Ipswich goal looked like.
Come from the
Um,
left hand side. Nigley swang it in.
Yeah, I ain't got a clue.
Yeah,
I honestly don't remember
first
that
time
game.
finish.
I
Trust me.
was having a few beers before that game. Yeah, that was. I guess that's another criticism. Would Borough or Coventry or Ipswich would have been about 5-0 up at half time last night. The
That's why their
chances
goal
we had,
difference is so good, right? Yeah.
yeah, Coburn obviously misses an absolute sitter. Aziz, at times, as good as Aziz is, and he's a brilliant player, and I think he gets the benefit of doubt at times, he does become too greedy in that final
hmm
third.
hmm
There's one where it sort of drops to him, and he just
When
lashes it with
volleys
his
it.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
what's he
lashes it
doing?
with his left foot, and he goes about 10 yards wide, and you're sort of thinking, there was Coburn in there, Ballo was in there, and it's like he
You
also
had
had
all the
time to
time in the
take a
world.
touch.
Yeah.
And there was a few times he went down the right, would cut in, and he'd just try something ridiculous, like try and take 2-3 players on and lose it, and they'd be like, oh. But I mean, he's allowed to do that, I guess, because what he does do it also is create a lot of goals, a lot of chances for us, and is by far our best player going forward. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can't have it all. But yeah, just at times, like last night was so frustrating at times because you can see we're on top, you can see we're the better team, which just kill them off,
hmm
and you're sort of thinking in Mill fashion, we're going to mess this up some way. Um, but thankfully, I mean, they were so poor going forward in the midfield that we never really had to worry. You know, even
No,
if Aziz doesn't score, I don't think they get a goal. They get a goal because I think it's just a freak goal, isn't it? I mean, sure, we'll get onto it, but
it happens,
we
doesn't
just
it?
got to be
Yeah.
better taking our chances, and because it will come back to bite us if we don't. Um, like I said, other teams have got plus nearly 30 goal difference because when they play teams like that who can't get forward and give up loads of chances, they
Put
punish
them to
them.
the sword. Yeah.
Yeah, which is Mill though. We don't do anything easy, do we? Even when we've beaten teams heavily this year, like Charlton, for example, we were 1-0 until about the
We should have
80th
been about
minute.
7-0 up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
Um,
I mean,
yeah.
but we'll get into the second half then. So Stoke briefly actually woke up in the second half and hit the post from distance, and you're thinking, Jesus Christ, this could be a long 45 if this carries on. But then the second goal did come, I think around the 55th minute mark, I believe.
When it changed to bloody Pro Club's cameras, weren't it?
Oh, what was that about? What was that about? Sort it out, Sky. That was a
Oh,
disgrace.
God. I thought I was in
Um,
goal on Pro Clubs.
um, I had to watch it back to get notes for this because I had no idea what was actually really going on. But Josh Coburn and Cranmer do really well on the right-hand side, forcing error. But their Stoke City player hurried on the ball, plays it inside, straight to Derek. He plays the ball into Ballo, turns the ball, instantly releases Aziz, And then from there, it's just typical Femi, really, mate. I mean, inside onto the left foot, he shoots from about 1,000,000 yards out, and there's absolutely nothing the keeper could do about it. It's an
Really?
impossible shot. It's
You
an
could have
impossible
caught
shot to
that.
save.
You could have caught that. I'd have saved that one. All he has to do was punch it over. Oh, yeah. He must hate Southampton to
What is he
bits.
doing? What on
He
earth is he?
must
What on
hate
earth is he
Southampton.
doing?
Because
It's terrible.
when he took the shot, because we had that camera, I literally nearly went, "What are you doing?"
What are you
And
doing?
because and then I'm like, "It's hit the back," because it's hit the back of the net. I'm going, "No, it can't have gone in." Then
I
you see
didn't
the
really
middle goes.
celebrate it. I sort of just looked
Yeah,
at.
I was in shock, and then you're like, "Oh god, we're 2-0 up."
Oh,
It was the worst. I mean, he's got it on target from just outside the box. Fair enough. I
is it
guess
it?
that's
It's a good hit.
yeah. I guess that's the message, isn't it? You got to put shots on target. You never know what's going to happen. It reminded me of Fleming against Luton a few years back when he sort of just hit
Yeah,
one. Then
yeah, yeah,
goalie
yeah.
just sort of threw it in his own net. Yeah, I mean, Southampton must be killing themselves right now. He's obviously gone out on loan, and I mean, he's probably denied now Southampton potentially. I mean, depending on what happens tonight. I think if Ipswich don't win tonight, then Southampton technically are back in it because they are only 3
I
points
think
behind
so.
us.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I don't even know how that's gone in. I mean, it's awful goalkeeping. I mean, that's worse than whatever George Long's done. Like that was
that's
awful.
a
I
big
can't think of
shout.
George Long doing one like that. That's because that is literally. I
No,
mean, he doesn't move. By the way, he catches that. He's decided to come across
he
and dive, and
almost
then it
jumped
gone.
past it, didn't he?
Yeah, he
It's
jumped too
awful.
far, and it's awful goalkeeping. Like, that's an awful thing. And I think even Femi kind of knew
Yeah,
that he
yeah,
shouldn't
yeah.
have scored that, but. I mean, we take it. We deserved it because we deserved to be 2-0 up. And I know Stoke came out and had a bit of fire in their belly, but never, apart from hitting the post, never really troubled us. And it was always, even if they'd have gone 1-1, I still think we would have gone on and got a second
100%.
and got the third.
100%.
I don't think it would have been crumbled last night because we were just we were basically a bit too good for them.
No,
But yeah, it was an awful goal.
but yeah, I mean, you touched on it earlier, though, right? I mean, naturally, Mill will always make things slightly harder than they need to be, and despite not really carrying much of a threat, and despite the fact that all they really ever seemed, in their best spell, all they really do was had a little bit of possession and they chucked the ball in the box, but it didn't look like scoring until they did. It's a poor goal, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's just a Stoke corner. It's cleared away, ball gets recycled, puts in a really good ball into the box actually, and they're unlucky to not get a touch on it. Falls to Cisse, who when he come on, I thought was really impressed me. I thought he was
Yeah, he's
actually
the best player.
best player by a mile. The sort of player where you think to yourself, like, if we were to go up, we could get him. I'd have a look at him. I don't know how old he is and stuff. I think he's quite young, but
They said he was a youngster when he came on, but to be fair, commentators never know what they're talking about
no,
half the time.
he's probably 37. Yeah,
Probably like, yeah, he's 37. He's older than Nzonzi.
yeah. It's definitely a cross. He's just putting it back into an area. I think it hits Taylor on the arse, hits his back, and bounces into pretty much an empty net. And from nowhere, it's 2-1, and you're thinking to yourself, here we go. This is typical Millwall, but it weren't typical Millwall. And as you said, the boys did respond, and it didn't take long at all. 10 minutes after it goes 2-1, we get our 2-goal cushion back, and you think to yourself, maybe this side's slightly different now. Maybe the old Millwall mentality of seeing them games over the line and making it nervy for the last 10 minutes and shit house in the win. Maybe them days are long behind us. We got to say, it's another awful mistake from the Stoke defence. I don't know what their defender's seen. I know he's a young kid, so people make mistakes, but he's tried to pass it out to a player that's just not there. He's given it straight. It's just way too casual, really. Pass the ball straight to Negley. Negley slips in Coburn. Coburn takes a poor touch, too slow on the ball. The defender slides in. He's almost tackled the ball into the net in the end. I mean, it's not a bad finish. You still pull it away, but the duality of Josh Coburn, right? Should have scored a sitter in the first half, blazed over the bar, and then sort of scuffs one into the net in a second. But he's got his goal.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what I said earlier. I'm so pleased for him that he got his goal because he'd have been kicking himself despite winning the game. I mean, their goal was just, there's not much more that you can say other than it was just a very lucky, cross that's gone into the back of the net and deflected. If we put it this way, if we'd done that up the other end, it'd have gone out for a corner. It just was
100%.
so unlucky at times with stuff like that. And then, their goal, it's a poor pass, it is, but Nesley's also very well positioned and read it quite well,
Mhm.
you know. And then the calm and composure just to slot Josh in. And then, like you said, Josh got away with it because it's a poor touch. And really, I'd be furious with my defender and keeper for not stopping that, to be
Yeah,
honest. Because I think
they've got to
that's
do better.
I think that was really poor from them again. And you can argue, well, technically we've had 2 poor goals go in, and it technically should be 1-1. But we would have
Well,
scored.
we
We
did
would have
score their
scored,
goal,
yeah. We
so
just didn't need to score another. We didn't need to score another and things like that. Yeah, I'm just pleased for Josh, to be honest, because that's going to give him a bit of confidence. Obviously, he hasn't scored since Borough away, I'm pretty sure. Because we played Norwich and Ivanovic scored,
yeah.
West Brom was 0-0, and then obviously QPR. So he hasn't scored since Borough away. So that'll hopefully do him a world of good. And yeah, it was just important to get that second goal cushion again, because for whatever it's 2-1, regardless of how good you are, it only takes one attack.
Well,
And
look how stupid their first goal was. So
yeah,
you're thinking,
exactly.
whilst there's that 1 goal cushion, there's no cushion whatsoever, is it?
It felt it probably only about 4, but it felt like they had about 20 corners last night. It felt like they had loads in that second half.
I can check for you, mate. I
Um,
can check for you.
it just felt every time they went forward, they won a corner. Didn't really do much
They
with
had
them.
11 in total.
Okay, I bet like 10 of them were in the second half.
You know how many we had?
Gone
Have a guess.
2.
Oh, close. 1.
I don't even remember. I
You
remember. I think
over-egged it with 2.
Aziz. Yeah, well, no, and I think you know what we did have a corner. Yeah, I do remember the corner. Aziz took it and it hit the front man. I'm pretty sure, and got cleared.
Brilliant.
Yeah, the second goal cushion was just like, oh, hey, we've won now. We like at 2-0,
Yeah.
I was still like, oh, it's still early. Like if they get one, we're back in it. Even if Stoke had got a second last night, in my opinion, there wouldn't have been enough time. And it was weird. They took Baker and who's a young lad? Not young lad. He's a small kid out wide. Um,
Manhoff.
Mine off. I was going to say Marmouche,
Yeah.
and he's like, no, he doesn't play for them. um,
It'd be
they
good
took
for
them
him.
to, and I think them too. I mean, mine off, whatever his name is. I always think he's a tidy,
Yeah.
quick player.
Good player.
I think Baker's a decent centre mid. So I was very surprised they took them off, and that told me last night that they didn't really, not they didn't care about the result, but it wasn't, there was nothing to play for. They would rather just rest them up rather than running them ragged. They brought on Sam
Rest
Gallagher.
of for what exactly? The season's finished. Has been for
Yeah,
weeks.
true. But I guess they're just rotating their squad of players that they've
Yeah.
got, like the Sam Gallaghers of the world, who I didn't even know was at Stoke, by the way. Saw him
Yeah, been
come
there for
on.
about 2-3 years now, I think.
Yeah,
It might have been. It
Stoke's like,
might have been Neil that signed him.
no, yeah, Stoke is one of them teams I just know nothing. Like apart from Thomas, don't really know much about them because they're just never up there. They're never like threatening relegation, so you just sort of never really hear about them. But
It's a
yeah,
funny one, isn't it? Because they have turned into a bit of just gonna sound really horrible, and they're gonna laugh and go for a Millwall fan. But they have turned into a bit of an irrelevant football club where it doesn't matter what
yeah,
happens throughout the season. They
they're
always finish
pressing.
in the bottom half.
Hmm. Like they never seem to be. They're always safe. If they're not having a good season, they're always safe before
Yeah,
like it gets to crunch time. And if they are having a half decent season, they're about 15 points to the playoff still. So
it
it's
never
like they've just
never even
never got
spoke
anything
about.
to play
Yeah.
for. Like, yeah, I mean, it's never an easy play. I know I didn't realise how good our record was there
Mhm.
prior to last night. Was it 14 games or something ridiculous we haven't lost in?
Yeah, something silly.
I didn't realise how good our record was there. And considering they've only been in the Championship for about 5 or 6 years, that must span back for quite a while. Yeah, they were just really off of it last night. And like I said, even that second goal was more just, I was just happy for Josh rather than actually happy we got a 2-goal cushion, because I never really felt we were in too much danger.
No,
And if it
we
wasn't
weren't.
for a really bad mistake, not a mistake, I guess just a bit of luck from their end,
Yeah.
that game doesn't become a contest. If that goes out for a corner, it's 2-0. And we probably don't ever need to really push the third. If we probably get that corner clear and it's a throwing up the other end, we probably didn't ring the changes a lot earlier. Yeah, it's just a really nice, comfortable performance last night. It's easy to look back on it and say that I wasn't feeling that at 88 still. I was still like, oh, don't do anything
I got
stupid
to
there.
say, mate, I think yesterday was one of the calmest I've ever been watching a Millwall game, to the point where in the second half, I actually loaded my phone up and I was paying more attention to what was going on at Southampton, Bristol
Yeah,
City, and the Leicester game, to be honest with you, because you're sitting there thinking, this game's done. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You could think we could still be out there now and they wouldn't have scored again. There was just they had
Mm.
nothing about them. So yeah, I'm almost just sort of switched off a little bit. I thought, okay, I'll keep it on the TV because I know how to film this. But for all intents and purposes, I was more interested in what was going on at Southampton, seeing how they
Yeah,
got on.
I can't believe they didn't win. I mean, it's fine them. You kind of needed them to win last night just so they believe a bit. I think a lot of their fans last night took to Twitter and basically went, "Our playoff citizen." I was thinking, well, if Charlton get a result tonight, which I'll be honest, I'm
Yeah,
saying this for the record now, but I don't think they will. I think they will lose to Ipswich. I think as much as we need Charlton to get something, I just think, and it's not that I think that they'll bend over backwards for Ipswich. I don't think
yeah,
they'll
they
do
won't.
that.
They
The
won't.
more I look at it, I think nowadays, and I was saying this on Saturday. I don't know if I was talking to you about it. I can't remember who I was talking to. Players don't support the team they play for. So, like,
No.
Mill players don't care what Charlton are doing and what Palace are
Hmm.
doing and all. They just care about winning the game of football. They don't care what it means for, if the final day of the season came about and it was, if we win, say we had nothing to play for, we win and it kept Charlton up, we would still go out to win. We
Of
wouldn't
course, it
throw
would.
the game for Charlton to lose it, so Charlton to
But
go down.
these players have all got like bonuses. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So they all want to finish as high as they can.
yeah.
And the thing for Charlton is, as much as they are safe, let's be honest, it will take an absolute
The only thing
miracle
is
for them to
Oxford
go
have got
down.
Sheffield Wednesday, haven't they, on Saturday? I guess that would be,
Yeah,
if they did
yeah.
lose tonight, what is the gap, 6 or 5?
For Charlton or for Oxford, I think
I know it's 6, yeah, of course it is
If Charlton
6.
get a point tonight, then they're
They're
safe.
safe. Yeah, so that's 6
And
points. So the only thing would be if they lose tonight, and then I don't know who they've got Saturday, but Oxford are probably going to beat Sheffield Wednesday, you imagine. I know they've been picking up a point here
Charlton
and
didn't.
there. No, that's true. But you'd back Oxford to win. You don't
Of
want
course you would.
Oxford to be needing a win on the final day, though, do you? That'd be the only thing.
No, the thing is, I mean, I was looking at it earlier and I was doing the prep for the Leicester show, and Charlton have actually got the second worst form in the Championship. I mean, second only to
Mm.
Sheffield Wednesday. So they don't come into the game in good form. But then I was looking at Ipswich's form
Wait,
against form away. Their away form was poor, and their form against sides in the bottom six. I think they've only beat Sheffield Wednesday, Ipswich, against in sides in the bottom six. So
yeah,
it's. I'm going to say it. I've said it all week, so I can't tempt fate here because I've already ruined it. I've been more confident all week that Charlton would get a result than us. I've been sure all week Charlton would get something against Ipswich. I didn't know if Millwall would. I always trust Millwall to find something and find some creative way to make it difficult. But I've just got a niggling feeling that Charlton will get a point tonight.
I really hope they do. I mean, do you know what? I don't like Charlton as being a Mill fan. But it does make a better league when they're in it
It
with
does,
us.
yeah. It does.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Because
I'd happily not be in it with them next year, but yeah.
them or Lincoln City, like,
Oh,
or someone, like, it's just like, I guess for the first year, it'd be like, oh, no, new away grounds tick off. But realistically, like, them kind of teams, and even Cardiff coming up, it's like a relevant game. Like, we've played them so
mm,
many times. Like, at least it makes it more entertaining, them being in the league. So, worst case scenario, if we don't go up, we've got Charlton next year. That'd be I'm trying
yeah.
to say this as like a preach that they go and win the game
Please
tonight.
do something.
If they win it tonight, and then we stay 3 points clear, and obviously Ipswich will still have that game in hand, but then they got to go to West Brom away on Saturday. And if we can beat Leicester, we could be 6 points clear. Yeah, I don't want to think too far ahead, but there is a
If,
scenario where we could be going into Oxford looking very pretty, and it or potentially only needing a point.
all Charlton have got to do tonight is get a point, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if Charlton get a draw,
That big guy from
then
Kenya, last minute winner, mate. That'd be lovely.
yeah.
I don't know
Anyway,
his name, but I just know Charlton's notifications. Anytime he's mentioned, they have about 500
Collins,
comments. Yeah. It's
yeah,
like,
Collins. He's actually not a bad player, you know. So
I can't tell you. The only game I've seen them play was the Borough away game. He wasn't in the squad, or he was on the
was he not?
bench.
Was he not? Ah, fair enough. But we'll move into our last segment then, which is the man of the match. It's a bit of an interesting one because, as we touched on earlier, this isn't like QPR where everyone was absolutely flying and Millwall were spectacular. This weren't that sort of game. We was quite just efficient, I think is probably the word for it. But there's a few people I want to mention before I give the mic over to Harry, who will announce our man of the match. But I thought Crammer looked 10 times better than he had. He looked like he had a lot more energy and really up for it. He looked really strong last night. Ballo, special shout out, again, caused problems all night, and to have coming from the cold like he has, to have the impact he's had in the last two games, can't fault the kid. Femi Aziz, it was frustrating at times, but he still scored and he's always dangerous. That's his first goal since Birmingham. So again, just said about Coburn needed a goal. He needed a goal. Zach Sturge, just faultless all night, didn't put a foot wrong. I mean, almost nearly gave away a penalty. That's never a penalty, but you don't trust refs in this league, do you? But other than that, like he was perfect all night. But really, I think there can only be one winner, mate. So who is it for you?
Yeah, it's got to be number 10, Can Millwall. I mean, he got the goal obviously to open it up, and he got the assist obviously for Coburn as
Yep.
well. And just his all round game last night. He's one of them players that never looks like he's breaking a sweat, but he's everywhere. And he's really grown into that. I think beginning of the season where we were playing him here, there, and everywhere, he was never really getting comfortable in terms of his playing role. And
Mhm.
you can be as good as a player as you want, but if you're being asked to play here, there, and you're having to adjust every week.
It's tough.
Even swapping wings, everyone think, oh, you got what, playing on the left, playing on the right. If you got 2 feet, a professional footballer, it does make a huge difference. We saw that with Aziz when he was playing on the left, when we had Essay out on the right,
Mhm.
moved him to the right, and now he's a different player. Camille last night, yeah, just so much flair about him. Like I said, his goal is very composed. How many players in the league are that composed inside the 18, especially on the circumstances that was last night, which could take us top 2? And then, yeah, he's not only is he a good player in the box, he then's able to intercept well, which then sets up Coburn. He was just everywhere last night, and he's really grown into. I think a lot of people maybe were frustrated at the beginning of the season because his
Yeah.
output wasn't there. I think everyone could see that he was a good player. It's just the output side of it.
Yeah.
And then I think recently now he started seeing the goals and the assists come through. And yeah, last night, I mean, he just looked at £100 million player last night, and if he can stay that way for Leicester and Oxford, he could be the difference maker, in my opinion, between 6 points and not.
I think I said to you actually. He can't remember. Might be Charlie, but I was watching him a couple of weeks ago, and I thought to myself, he really reminds me of Bernardo Silva in the sense of like he's obviously not as good as Bernardo Silva. That's a given, right? There's a reason one plays for Mill, one plays for City. But just in terms of that diminutive, you'd look at him and think there's not much to him. Not particularly quick, not particularly strong, but technically outstanding. So consistent on the ball, finds pockets of space, doesn't stop running, and just quietly runs the game. I think there's a lot of similarities to how they both play. And if he
Yeah, they're
tell
both
you
always
what,
one step ahead, aren't they? Like they
yeah,
always seem like he's the step ahead of the next person, whatever they're trying to do,
yeah, exactly.
defensively or attackingly.
Yeah, if it feels like a mad shout to sort of compare Camille Negri to someone that's won multiple Premier Leagues and the Champions League, but I'm not saying he's obviously as good, but in terms of style wise, I think there's a lot of similarities to their games. So Camille Negri is our 1885 show man of the match once again. Huge win for Millwall. 2 games left. Millwall sitting second in the league. Over to Ipswich now, really. And it's only 3 points will do against our local rivals. So the pressure is on. Harry, before we sign out, mate, anything from yourself?
I never thought I'd say this, but please, Charlton, do us a favour, do us a
Come on,
solid.
Nathan. Come
I
on, Nathan
promise,
Chance.
if you can draw tonight, I promise I won't slander anymore on Twitter about your club. And come on, you want to be in the Championship anyway. Like,
Yeah.
just get the point. Like, you know what I mean? You can go and relax and be on the beach for 2 games. You've got Hull and Swansea after this. You've got no care in the world. You've secured your Championship status. Why not enjoy it? And get it sorted tonight against Ipswich. You don't like Ipswich anyway. Why would you like Ipswich?
You
No
beat
one
them
likes
last
it.
time. You beat them last
Exactly,
time. Beat
going
them 3
3
0.
0.
Let's do it again. Let's do it
Yeah,
nice and easy. Yeah.
that's my only hope. And yeah, I'm obviously on to Friday now, which is as much as they got relegated last night, and everyone thinks it might be a bit of a rollover.
No
It's
chance.
managed by Gary Rowett, so
Mm.
I expect Leicester to play a 9-1-0 and basically and literally
Nick it on
park
it with a
the
nick
big
it with a
red
corner.
bus. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally park team coach in front of it because I'd like to think Gary Wright still got a soft spot for Millwall, but he would
Oh,
definitely try and set up.
absolutely no chance. He'll hate us. He will hate
You
us.
reckon? I
Yeah,
hope.
yeah, yeah.
I hope there's a part of him that goes, you know what? I know I didn't take him there, but I built a foundation for a team there, and it's been taken on to past what I can do. And that's what I'm hoping in my head. I might be a bit delusional, but that's
No, I
that's
think
my hope that
no,
he does that.
absolutely no chance, mate. He would it would save his season if he could ruin ours. Right, guys, thank you for tuning in. This has been your 1885 show, Stoke City post-match cool down. If you've enjoyed the show, make sure to comment, like, subscribe. There's not long left of the season now, but there is going to be plenty of drama over the next 2 weeks. And good news, we've got another show landing tomorrow for your commute, which is the Leicester City warm-up. This has been the 1885 show. See you on the next one.